and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
This is the most important project that Father Christopher has for his church, because it will make his church self-sufficient. They will have, you think, 1,000 chickens in this chicken coop.
I believe.
1,000 chickens, and all the eggs and the chickens for meat, and he will be able, he thinks, to be able to sell the chickens just here on the island, so he doesn't even have to go to the mainland.
No.
And will be able to sell eggs every day. 1,000 chickens would be a lot of eggs every day. You know, maybe at least 800 eggs every day. It'd be fantastic. So let's talk about this, and why don't you tell us when it started, first of all?
Yeah, I'm very grateful to the Orthodox Africa, especially the Father Solomon, because he suggested this. I said, why don't you start up a project so that you become self-reliant? I mean, you at least you have somewhere where you can get something as an income. So I picked that and I said, wow, we have to do that. So what we did, we started to make the blocks. My son Nicholas, who is around now here, he started to make these blocks. He has a degree, for his first degree, but there is no jobs in the camp in Uganda anymore for youth. So he came there, he came here, and then started to make the bricks. Of course, we were paying him, and he did a wonderful job. All of these blocks, mostly, almost three quarters of these blocks, he molded them with our machine, as you saw them there. So we started, and we continued. Simply this year, we started this year. So we
Come to see his face. Come
but when we started, we had the plan and they said, look, it's a chicken house, yes, but suppose it is that we can't afford the chicken anymore. So let us put up a structure which can be applied for other activities, like you can live
Which
in
is
it.
convertible.
Yeah, convertible to other applications.
You could use it for a house if you wanted
Yes,
to.
if you want.
You clean it out and it'd be a house, because
A
it's
house.
very nice construction.
Yeah, and then you partition it, So it can end up to be a guest house. You never know. People here come, they don't have anywhere to stay. Then we can change to that, and we still continue because it has to go down there, the other way, and somewhere behind there.
So this is not all of the house. You're going to make it bigger.
Yeah, more. We shall add on.
But this house itself, you
We
think
start
the house
with this.
would be 1,000,
Yeah.
and then just get bigger and bigger. The whole thing is, we have a saying in America, and it's the same saying. It would work in Uganda,
Right.
for sure. And that is, you need money to make money. Once you have money, you can make money. And the initial capital to build this chicken house is not much at all. And in American terms, it's not a lot of money, but then they will be self-sufficient, being able to raise chickens, sell
Expand.
eggs, and expand, and then have more,
Yeah.
which is very, very important. They're on an island. They're a 5-hour boat trip if you take stops from the mainland. So you can imagine things are expensive to get things, and people will buy here rather than go to the mainland if they can help it,
Exactly, yeah.
because it's expensive to go to the mainland.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's take a look inside a little bit, and then we'll hear from Father what we need to finish this chicken house
Yeah.
in terms of cold hard cash.
Yeah.
Nicholas's labor.
What do we need now? As the structure is now like this, already roofed, well done. As you can see, we cut all the wood from here and we kept it. When we finished, then we were having the wood in place. And now we need the windows. We have how many windows to put here? The frame windows, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and then 2 doors. The windows temporarily now won't have shutters. Why? Because our chickens will need the light and the wind.
And the wind,
So therefore, we just put the flame windows and iron bars for security, and then iron mesh for other wild cats not to come and disturb our chickens. And 2, as we proceed on, and we expect to have what is it?
Cages.
We expect to have cages.
Right.
If you put cages in this room, which is 30 feet by 20 something, you can have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 cages. Each cage containing 100 birds, or 120, something like that.
So that makes
So
you 1,000.
in such a room, okay, it is a big room, but when you put the birds down here, you can't get that number.
No, not at
So
all.
therefore, but we shall start with what we have. And please, we need to enlarge, we need to go ahead and continue and enlarge our structures so that we can, our target is to have at least 3,000 chickens. 1,000, maybe 1,500 for eggs, 1,500 for
Meat.
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 But in groups, in stages, so
Right.
that all the time we have the supply. The surplus people, whenever they come, these customers, they get what they need.
And once
have it.
once they have chickens, once they have 1,000 chickens, even 500 chickens, then they have enough money to get more chickens, do a little more building on it. The problem is you need initial capital, and that's what Orthodox Africa's about. We want to have missions and churches that want to become self-reliant.
Exactly.
Because the model that has gone on for centuries has been where money is given, but then there are strings attached. And it's just money, and then you eat the money, and then the money's gone.
Exactly.
We want to give money to worthy causes. That this beautiful church, Father Christopher has been laboring here for years and been very faithful. And we want to give money to places like this so that they can become self-sufficient.
Exactly.
Not one penny of what Orthodox Africa gives to Father Christopher will he eat. Everything goes into infrastructure. And once we have the infrastructure, then he can eat all the chickens he wants. He can have chicken dinner every single Sunday.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope-
Winter chicken dinner every Sunday, and because there'll be so many chickens. So what we need is an infusion of capital to put the doors and windows, and then they will build or buy the cages. Hopefully they'll buy 1 or 2 and then they'll build the rest. It'll be cheaper, but whatever happens. And initially they might not even put cages. Maybe they'll just put 500 chickens in here like it is to start building up their capital. What do you think it would take to get doors and windows? Do you have an estimate?
I was thinking of doors and the windows, maybe not a lot, because we have the wood for the window structures and the doors. I think $2,500.
$2,500. Now, when he says you have the wood, he has the wood. He would take the wood to the mainland,
Yeah.
to a carpenter, so he wouldn't have to buy the wood. Wood is very expensive
Expensive here.
in Uganda. Very, very expensive. Actually, almost every time I mention anything in Uganda, somebody says very expensive.
Exactly.
Everything is expensive in Uganda. And he has the wood, he just has to have a carpenter put it together, and then the doors too, and then they're ready. They're ready to put up some things for the chickens to roost and get started.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the water tank too.
Yeah. When we like
The water tank and the chickens as well.
Yeah, okay. Of course, when we start to raise them, you need to buy the chickens and you need to buy the food until they can feed themselves.
Right.
So that one also, the 2,500 just to
Finish.
Yeah,
Complete the
yeah.
structure.
Because down here we don't need to do anything. And okay, we have to finish that. Build up that one. That one we are gonna do because we have some cement already for that. And this one.
Yeah, he's pointed at the arches here.
Yeah.
It's not an arch. They're the openings, yeah.
Do it up the way it is.
And you need to collect water. They collect rainwater in Uganda.
Exactly.
And it rains in the rainy season every day. It rained today for I think 5 hours straight. And that's very
Whenever
typical.
it rains.
2,500, it is to complete the structure.
Right.
But we need also some money to buy the chicken
To buy the
And
chickens
the food.
and
chicken
also,
and the feed.
and a little bit,
Chicken
a
feed,
little bit
yeah.
to expand the water tank,
Yes.
right? And to be able to make the collection system, right? You have to put gutters on
Right.
the
Yeah.
roof and
On
stuff
the
like
roof and
that.
stuff, yeah.
But
Yeah.
the majority of it's done. I mean, the infrastructure is basically done. You've got a solid building that can be used as a chicken coop, and then when you clean it up, you could use it to live in. You could have apartments here. You could have bed and breakfast.
Exactly.
You know, Father
You
said he
can
was a
even-
professional cook. He'll cook for you. You come here and sleep in this chicken house, and he'll cook for
No,
you in the
man,
morning.
any human being, you have to cook and eat.
So,
Yeah.
so we estimate, that's our estimate, is, what did we come up with? $2,500 to get doors and windows, and probably a few incidental expenses. I don't know how much, you might need some concrete and such. So let's round it up to a nice round number of, well, 3 is not a round number. So let's say $4,000. $4,000 would get them in this house, ready to buy chickens and get
Yeah.
going. How about that? $4,000. Some people have TVs in their house in America that are worth more than $4,000.
Even here, I mean, come on. I
You
mean,
know?
people-
$4,000, a TV is $4,000 for some
Is it?
people. Yes, the people buy TVs that are
No, don't tell
$4,000.
me this, Father.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
And
And
some focus.
which would you rather have, a TV or a chicken house? Which would you rather have?
Chicken house.
I think we need a chicken house.
Yeah, already we have, we we just need to complete, and we thank everybody's contribution to us. Ours is to put in our energy, love, responsibility, and the faith and obedience. So I am here. Before I will die happy man when these things are all complete. I mean,
May God grant it.
Ah,
May
yeah.
God grant it.
I'm
So
gonna-
remember, I'm a board member of Orthodox Africa, so I'm gonna put in the plug again.
Yeah.
It's very important that the money we want for this chicken coop is to be renewable. It's to have a sustainable economy, not just so that the house is finished and then Father just eats the money. We're going to have the money, build the house, and then we'll probably need some more money for chickens. But then, they can't be that expensive, we just gonna get little
Yeah.
pullets. And then, it'll be self-sustaining. This is what's important in Uganda, in Kenya, and anywhere we go in Africa.
Yeah.
And the model has always been that the Mzungu gives you money, but there's a catch to it, because the Mzungu wants you to do what he wants you to do. And we're not doing that. He told us he wants a chicken house. We want him to be able to build a chicken house. So that's our story.
It has started and it is here, and the continuity of it is fine because you have to expand and expand and expand. So that brings a value to our area, to
Absolutely.
our land.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've put something like this. One would just can't come and say, "What are you doing here?" Excuse me. If you want to throw me out, please pay a lot of money.
I actually think also, thinking sort of ahead and a little outside the box.
Yeah.
With the poverty that is present, if you have a chicken coop and you have all these, have a sustainable economy, the people around see, and then of course you would give kindnesses to them, give alms to them, they would see that the Orthodox Church is way different than anybody else. And I think this is a way of doing evangelism.
Exactly.
Chicken
I like
evangelism.
that.
We're doing chicken
I
evangelism.
like.
And that matters. I mean, giving a person a chicken or some eggs when they're poor is a big deal. But right now, you don't have any eggs to give them. But you will.
I will.
You will have eggs to give them.
Two, it will become a model to the rest of the people around us.
Exactly.
They will come, those people with sensibility in their brain, they will come and say, wow. Maybe they won't do the same thing, but let the people come and look at you, copy you, and let them go and do it. That's the development of the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Around here is absolutely beautiful. There are trees, beautiful trees, but just walking today, seeing some of the monkeys, we heard chainsaws. They're cutting down the wood. And why are they cutting down the wood? To make charcoal. Are they replanting the wood? No.
I'm the only stupid man doing that. There are many here planted by me.
Yeah,
Whatever
he
it is.
planted so many trees that are
Yeah.
gigantic now, and he's not cutting them down because they're his legacy. They're the legacy of this church. You have to
Yeah.
have a beautiful grounds. And if people knew that you have to have an industry that you can sustain. You can sustain a chicken industry. You can't sustain a charcoal industry when you cut down all the wood.
No.
Then you have no more wood, and then you have no more rain, and then you have nothing but desert.
And you know, Father, why People are not informed. People are not, they just look at this printed paper, the so-called money. They just worship that. They don't know the meaning of the money at all. So we need to help our people,
May God grant it.
regardless.
May God grant it.
Yeah.
That would make this a sustainable place, a parish, a place of pilgrimage, because it's absolutely beautiful looking out at Lake Victoria anytime.
Yeah.
Except when it's raining really hard. It's not as easy to do it then. This is a sustainable project. So we at Orthodox Africa would ask you to please give towards this sustainable project. And I've made a promise to every single project I've been involved in. I will continue to make this promise. I'm sure Father will make this promise too. You send in the names of your loved ones, your family. Tell us who's Orthodox, who's not, your immediate family. And we will pray for them. I already have 500 people or more that I'm praying for that have contributed to Orthodox Africa projects. There's a dormitory we're building, an orphanage that we're building, a school that we're helping to build. I think those three, and then the chicken coop. So we have 4 projects happening right now in various stages, and we will pray for people who donate to these projects, because we don't want to just take your money and not give you anything back.
I know.
I want your money, and Father needs your money, we need your money, and we will pray for you for the rest of our lives.
I know.
That's what we'll do.
I would die happy man.
Okay?
Yeah.
So please give to Orthodox Africa, and if you want to give specifically for the chicken coop, then you go ahead and you give your donation that way, and send in names of your loved ones, of your immediate family. Tell us who is Orthodox, who's not, and I guarantee you, I will get them on a document, get them to Father, and I will pray, and he will pray, and the other priests are praying for people who are giving to their projects also.
Glory be to
May God bless you and help you in all things.
God.
Why don't we finish this by you singing Christ is Risen in Lugandan? Because you told me you would do it.
Oh, is it?
Yes, you did. Well, not
It's not
today. you
time
didn't.
yet for Christ is risen.
It doesn't, we can still do it.
Christos ukite mubafu mukufa okufa akusambaze anabo ababadde montana abawadde obulamu.
Now say, Christ is risen in Lugandan, and truly he is risen.
Kristo azukidde.
Kyamazima azuukidde.
Kristo azukidde.
Kyamazima azuukidde.
Christos anest.
Alethos anest.
Amen.